Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Steve McCauley here with another video. Today we got another 6v6 single battle with the Mega Alakazam team that I made. And I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. To be honest, I've been searching for battles. I just haven't been able to find any. Luckily, this person actually invited me to battles. You know, the funny thing, whenever I'm battling someone, if you guys don't know, on the bottom screen it'll like give you notifications. Oh, this friend's online. This person's inviting you to trade. This person's challenging you to battle. Every time I'm in a battle, I get so many. It's like this person wants to challenge you to a battle, and a few minutes later, this other person wants to challenge you to a battle, and I get so many battle requests while I'm actually battling. But when I'm looking for a battle request, I don't get any. So it's just the way of life. But again, I'm sorry, but we'll just go ahead and jump into this one. You guys are in for a real treat today, if I say so myself. My opponent had a team of Snorlax, Gardevoir, Victini, Excadrill, Vaporeon, and Rotom Wash. So what's interesting here, he's got 2 Psychic-type Pokemon and 2 Water-type Pokemon. A little bit tricky for me. The thing, with this team, I don't really have that good of coverage, but what scares me here is interestingly enough, the 2 water-type Pokemon, since I don't have any grass-type, or really anything that will resist water-type moves. I do have immunity to water with Storm Drain, and I also have Energy Ball with Alakazam, so if I can get those 2 to about half health, since they're really bulky, I should be able to finish them off with Energy Ball. The Snorlax is also really intimidating, since I realized here, wait, I don't have any stab fighting, do I? I do have Superpower on Scizor, but that's probably like a 2-hit KO. Or one will probably do around half health, and I'd have to switch out and switch back in to be able to finish it off. So again, here the Salamence doesn't do too much. I noticed that throughout all these battles, maybe it's just because my opponents weren't running like Dragonites and Garchomps and stuff like that, but I found Salamence wasn't that good of a Pokemon in these battles, in my personal opinion, at least in the battles that I had. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and get this one started. Here with the lead, I decided to lead with Gastrodon since there wasn't too much my opponent could do against it, and since he did have those 2 water-type Pokemon. So sure enough, he does start with Rotom Wash, and he immediately switches out. Here I was kind of like, okay, he can't touch me because he probably has an Electric-type move and Water-type moves, and maybe Ice Beam or Hidden Power Ice. But there's not much I can do to him either since he's immune to ground. So I just decided to go for a Scald, maybe Fish for a burn. He does switch into Snorlax, and so here I'm just like, okay, well, that's fine. I'm just going to switch into Salamence. Mainly for this Intimidate, since Salamence isn't going to be doing too much in this battle, I decided to just get the Intimidate off. He goes for Body Slam, so I was like, oh great, he's just going to be fishing for Paralyzes with this Body Slamming Snorlax. I switched into Carbink here since it's physically defensive and it'll resist, but he actually pulled his switch as well into his Kitara, which is obviously the Vaporeon. And I was like, oh, fantastic. That's like a terrible switch for me. So this is like a triple switch for me into Gastrodon, predicting the Scald. And sure enough, he does. So we do get the Storm Drain +1 boost, which isn't too much since I'm not invested in offense, but still nice. I should be doing a little bit more. And the only thing here, I don't have, or I can't go for the Scald because he might be Water Absorb. So I just go for the safe Earth Power, and he went for Wish, and then now he's going to switch out, and I was like, okay, well, I don't really know what he's going to switch out into, but we do see the Snorlax comes in, I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I didn't, like, this thing was pretty much at full health anyways, so he's going to get back up to full health, restore like that 20-25% that he lost. So here I'm going to switch out. I don't want Gastrodon taking a Body Slam since I'm not invested in physical defense. I go straight out in the Carbink. And he does go for the Body Slam. So I'm expecting this will probably do like 20 damage max. And yeah, you do see it does like 22. But he does get the Paralyze, which is unfortunate. But it's not the end of the world since this is just a support Pokemon. It's already slow as it is. The only thing would be the 25% chance to become fully paralyzed. And here we're going to see the Excadrill come in, which is what I was expecting. When I switched into Carbink, I was like, okay, does he have any Rapid Spinners? Yes, he does have the Excadrill. I'm not really sure why his team doesn't really get destroyed by rocks. Only the Victini would take more than normal damage. But I do set up rocks here, and I was thinking of making a prediction because he's played pretty safe up until now. So I was like, I think he's just going to go for the Rapid Spin. So I was thinking about going in the Pyroar, because there's nothing on his team that wants to take the Specs Overheat. So I could have made a good play there, a good prediction, but I didn't want to risk it this early in. So here I go for the safe Dragon Claw. Since he did have the Air Balloon, there wasn't much else I could do. So we do over half, which is fantastic. And even with this leftovers recovery, I should still be able to take him out. So he does pull another switch. So here I was thinking maybe he will go into the Gardevoir. I don't expect him to let this thing just go down. So we do see the Gardevoir coming. I was thinking about going for an Earthquake, since most likely would have two-shot this thing. Even after the Intimidate, possibly. So that Intimidate helped him as well, because the thing, I might have stayed in and just gone for the Earthquake there and then gotten the free switch in the Scizor. But I switch out here. He does Mega Evolve. He does show it as the Mega Gardevoir. And the thing, I didn't really have anything to switch out into. I was kind of, even Scizor, I resist, but this is a Hyper Voice from a Mega Gardevoir. So that's going to do over half, which is very, very scary. But he is forced to switch out. And here I was like, okay, well, this is my opportunity to make a read. I expect him to switch out. No one will just leave in their Mega Gardevoir like that. So I get a knockoff, which is fantastic, especially against his Vaporeon. And it's a crit. So we knock off those leftovers. We get the crit. This thing's in range for another knockoff. In case you guys don't know, I'm banded, so I'm locked into that. I outspeed. Boom. Gone. Gone. That thing was pretty annoying for my team, especially with those wishes, all those EV evolutions. But he does bring in the Victini finally. So this is kind of terrifying for my team as well. I do bring in the Gastron. I'm predicting the Fire-type move. So here comes the Searing Shot. I am specially defensive, so it's going to do all of nothing to me. And we do see it as Life Orb. That's good information to have. It's going to be doing gradual damage to itself over time. So he does go for the U-turn here. Good play. And the funny thing, that does more than the Searing Shot. Even though, because it's not resisted, but also because I'm not physically defensive. So it shows that might be a mixed set. Good information just to have in the back of the head. Back in the mind. So he does bring in the Snorlax. I was thinking it doesn't really matter. I just go for the safe Scald. No burn still. Unfortunate. The residual damage on this thing would be very, very nice. But we switch out. Can't leave that thing in. That's the Gastron is really important for some of the members of his team, like that Victini and the Excadrill. So I do bring in. I was predicting this Body Slam, so I just bring Carbink back in since I'm already paralyzed. And he actually switches out. I don't know if it's just because he doesn't have too much for me, or if it's just because he wants to get rid of the rocks immediately with the Excadrill. I don't really know. But I do take this opportunity to set up the rocks again. And here I have another opportunity to make a prediction. To predict him to go straight up for the Rapid Spin instead of like an Earthquake or an Iron Head. So the thing, I do want the Pyro. The only thing, if he went for the Earth, like the best move he could have gone for was an Iron Head if he has it like a Steel type move, because that would have been, it's 4 times effective plus stab on me, so that would have destroyed me. An Earthquake would have been bad, but the Rapid Spin's also fine, because the thing, nothing on his team wants to take a Specs Overheat from this thing. Not even the Rotom. Not even the Vaporeon would have wanted to. So he does go into the Rotom, and we are going to do, that was about 45% damage. And we do outspeed this thing, so one more definitely should be able to knock it out. So it's up to him if he wants to stand, and he does stand. I go for another Overheat. We do connect, and we're able to pick up the knockout on this Rotom. So we've already picked up the knockout, or both knockouts on his water type Pokemon, which is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Leaves less work for Mega Alakazam to do. The only thing, Mega Alakazam doesn't really have a good matchup. Like, for example, the 3 attacking moves I have, Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam, and Psyshock, this Victini resists all 3 of them. The Gardevoir is also going to resist and has good special defense. So I bring in the Salamence here just to get the Intimidate off, kind of just letting it go down, since there's not much it's really doing in this battle. So he does go for the U-turn, and he's just going to get out of there right away. So you see he's actually taken some, I think it's like 3 attacks already. Already taken some good damage from the Life Orb. And he does bring back in his Gardevoir. And here I'm okay with letting my Salamence go down. I just go straight up for the Earthquake, and that does a lot. So if I predicted that Gardevoir switching at the very beginning when I went for the Dragon Claw, and I went for Earthquake, I might have been able to take this thing out with Earthquake, even after the Intimidate. But it's fine. Salmons did a fantastic job right there. It really pressures this Gardevoir now. So I do bring in the Scizor, and he is going to switch out. And this time he's going back in the Victini. So at this point, there was no need to really... there's no need to really make a good prediction since I'm already ahead. I just need to keep up and play safe. He's the one who needs to make the prediction, so the pressure's on him now. So I do... Bullet Punch wasn't a 2-hit KO, unfortunately, but I do just bring back in the Carbink, predicting either the U-turn or whatever. I should be able to take whatever this thing wants to throw my way. And it's just slowly whittling itself down with Life Orb damage. So maybe with that, or maybe after one more attack, I should be able to knock it out with Bullet Punch, if necessary. And we're going to see the Excadrill come back in. Like I said, this guy's been playing safe the whole time, so we've been pretty fortunate. I go for the Power Gem here just to break the, what's it called? The Air Balloon. Salamence is gone, which would have been like the main ground user, but just in case if Gastrodon needs to go for an Earth Power on this thing, the option is there now. So he does set up Stealth Rocks. Really late for him to set up Stealth Rocks, to be honest. That could have actually made a big difference for him if he'd set him up earlier. He does go for Rapid Spin. Here I'm just kind of like, I just need Carbink to go down. I get fully paralyzed there. I went for the Explosion. I'm going for the Explosion again. He goes for Earthquake, which I found interesting. He might have been, just in case he might have thought that I was going to bring Pyroar back in, so that might have been a prediction on his part. But now I'm able to bring in Pyroar for free. So that was just a free switch for me, which is fantastic. And now both his Water-type Pokemon are gone. So Pyroar has pretty much got free range on this guy. He does bring back in the Victini. I go shit for the Flamethrower. Like I said, I'm just keeping up with the safe plays. And we're able to pick up the knockout on Victini. So we've already taken out 3 of his 6 Pokemon. But the one thing that could be a problem is this Snorlax. It could have Thick Fat. So it's going to be taking all of nothing from my Flamethrowers or Overheats. So Hyper Voice would be the way to go to knock this thing out. So here I bring in Gastrodon. Since now that Victini's gone, Gastrodon is not really as important. Especially with how low not with how low, but the damage I can get on the Excadrill with my Pyroar, since Pyroar is still pretty healthy. So here I go for another Scald. I'm like, okay, this is my 3rd Scald. I should be picking up a burn here. Nope, no burn. The burn would have been fantastic. It would have been huge. I mean, this thing's a physical attacker. The damage over time, I'd be able to bring in whatever, and I could probably overheat this thing down or flamethrower this thing down. So here I bring in Alakazam, just to get off a bunch of damage. I know I'm not going to be able to knock this thing out. Like I said, this matchup was a little difficult for Alakazam since he didn't have any fighting-type Pokemon. He didn't have any Dark-type Pokemon. He didn't have anything I could hit for super effective damage with my Psychic or Fairy-type move. The Energy Ball, yes, but I was able to take care of those. So right there, we did a decent amount of damage. It was like 60 or 70%, and he does have the Crunch. So we are going down. He did get a critical hit. I don't really think it mattered. Not really that big of a deal anyways. I was expecting Alakazam to go down. Because now Pyroar can just come in. We're in a little bit of a complicated situation since he has Gardevoir, Snorlax, and Excadrill. The thing, I didn't know if a Flamethrower would knock this thing out. I didn't know it spread, and it does. We saw it did have Thick Fat thanks to Trace from Mega Alakazam. So here I go for a Hyper Voice, and I was like, okay, well if he stays in and I knock it out and he brings in Excadrill, then I can just switch in Scizor. He'll knock out the Scizor and I get a switch back in. And I can go Flamethrower on Excadrill and Flamethrower on Gardevoir. But he actually just went in the Gardevoir and then back in the Salamence. So he probably never figured it out that I was Specs or choiced in some fashion. But that's why I went for that. I found it was the safest play I could have gone into. I'm sure a Flamethrower would have, but I was just a little paranoid that I wanted to win this battle. So at this point, I just switch in the Scizor so I can come back in and Flamethrower this Excadrill. And he does have obviously he does have Earthquake, but he goes for the Earthquake. That's going to be enough to knock us out. Critical hit, I highly doubt that mattered. So now we got a nice 1v1. Pyro is going to be able to survive these Stealth Rocks just barely with a little bit of HP. And no need to risk the miss with the overheat. The Flamethrower will definitely take this thing out even without the specs. And we're able to pick up the knockout. So red health Pyro cleaning this one up, doing tons of damage in this battle. I really like it. That one was really close. It came down to the wire. It all started with that prediction I had with Scizor, where I went for the knockoff when he had Mega Gardevoir out instead of the Bullet Punch, and I was able to take out that Vaporeon, and it just snowballed. So still a close battle in the end. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's probably the end. This is going to be the last battle that I'm going to do with Mega Alakazam. My final opinions on it, I don't think it's that good of a Mega Evolution for many reasons. Like you saw in this one, he didn't have a good matchup. I mean, he's obviously missing some key types like Dragons, like Darks, like Fighting. Fairy type can hit, and also his Psyshock. But I just feel like, I don't know, and especially with his ability, he's not really that good. For example, I don't know, Victini has a decent ability, Excadrill has a decent ability, but like you can't just switch in a Mega Alakazam on a Pokemon whenever you want just to get its ability. So trace it could be it's difficult to trace a good ability with such a frail Pokemon. And then Mega Alakazam or Alakazam's got good coverage, but like for example, I would have loved to run Focus Blast on this, but it's way too inaccurate. So I just feel like the moveset for him is not that good. And maybe on certain teams it could have been better. Again, obviously against certain matchups it could be fantastic because he can outspeed all the dragons. He can destroy fighting types, do some great damage to dark types. Obviously with the energy ball he can do well. So I think he can run Shadow Ball as well. I mean, he's got good coverage, but I didn't like him too much. We still might see him in the future, though. Maybe on a doubles team he could be better. I don't really know, but I really enjoyed this team. First time I've ever used a Gastrodon, I think. Salamence didn't really do all that well. Like I said, we didn't really come up against many Dragon-type Pokemon, or many Grass-type Pokemon either, for that matter. Carbink was a lot of fun to use. The normal gem explosions were pretty good. But yeah, I'm going to be I'll have a new singles team and doubles team. So by the time you guys are watching this, I should already have a doubles team made. I'll just be working on getting it in-game. And then a singles team, I'll be working on it as well in the upcoming days. I try and do more double teams since battles are easier to get, since there's always people on the battle spot. With single battles, it can be a little difficult finding people. So I say, if you want to battle me, go ahead and let me know. I'm always looking for people to battle. If you guys got any suggestions for a Pokemon that I should use on my next singles team, the Mega Evolution I should focus it around, go ahead and let me know. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed these battles with the Mega Alakazam. Like I said, I'm not the fondest, but who knows, maybe I'll think of something in the future and come back to it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.